Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Skald against the Black Priory. As today, we try not to lose our mind. Though, to be blunt, based on everything we've seen up to this point, I really can't imagine those poor captives have fared particularly well. But, hope springs eternal. We did at least leave things on Idra better off than they were when we got there. If not necessarily Errol. That said, let us delve deeper. We've barely broken the surface thus far, but I'm sure before too long we'll be rolling in the deep ones. Storage room, okay. Nice assortment of tools, though I do wonder if the pickaxe will ever actually see functional use. Because I've noticed some tools, like the crowbar, don't seem to serve any purpose. You would think it would be like a bonus to athletics checks for forcing open doors or containers, but I don't think there's any actual functionality there. Alright, looks like we're getting channeled down this way. As you enter the room, you walk into a wall of warm, damp air. The stifling atmosphere causes your clothes to stick to your body, and your head goes light. You try to push ahead, but halt once again as stars flash before your eyes, and a ringing rises in your ears. Embla squints into the darkness. We are getting close. Are we? To what? A presence. Ancient. Powerful. Suddenly, Embla cries out in pain as she sinks to her knees. As you rush to aid her, a horrid clicking sound sounds from the darkness. Embla, get up! They're coming! Hulking shapes emerge from the darkened tunnels around you. One of them steps into the dim circle of light. It regards you with huge, yellow eyes full of alien intellect. To your horror, organs never meant for human speech croak forth words. More vessels come to us. She will be pleased. I think not. Death or glory? Okay. Stakes are slightly higher this time. We've got 6, including 2 brood guards. Though sadly none rocking out on the mic. I guess this must be the backup band. They've also got us in a slightly more disadvantageous position, flanked on 3 sides. So, we'll set up defensively. We'll try to keep at least 2 of them locked down with Embla's poison bomb. Make sure we've got shields on left and right to hold off the 2 on our flanks. Here we go. Arm shot, nice. Yeah, we'll focus on clearing our sides first, while we just delay the ones in front. Aside from Poison Bomb, Gnat Swarm also reduces their movement. So, those 2 stunned. And then these 2 slowed. And then a spell burn just to keep ourselves close to topped off. Yeah. And we'll try to arrange a nice group heal with Ivan where possible. Hold him off. Hey, not bad. I mean, Farron's never really going to be super competitive on damage, but he can hold his own. Though obviously, Cat, as ever, is our primary finisher. At least now that we're actually fighting foes who are vulnerable to it again. I think that is kind of what made the whole Tower of Ash segment kind of a slog. It was nothing but back-to-back enemies immune to not just backstab, but also all these crit-based abilities we built up. Which just dragged out most of the fights longer than they really needed to be. Whereas these guys are definitely tanks, but we've got a whole party designed to bust tanks. Nice. Hang back, Cat. Bide your time. Main downside with her, of course, is that she's essentially made of glass. Same with Embla, really, but, you know, she never even gets close to the fight if we can help it. Flanks clear. Broodguard 1 engaged. Actually, Broodguard. So that implies we've got a brood around here somewhere. That's probably not a great sign for the captives. Yeah, methinks we've got some more visceral body horror on the horizon. Which is fair. We know what we signed up for. Oof, Drayna. Let's get you out of there. Drayna clear. Hang back, top yourself off. I think we've got this. You know, that is one other thing I do wonder about with this game. It's not really much of a secret that they had to cut some elements or scale them back to actually hit launch. But one of the things they had talked about early on was having more named party members, more story-driven characters to fill out your party with. Whereas, ultimately, we obviously ended up with a core group of 5 plus 1 custom, and Iago as a temporary. I do wonder at who else might have originally been planned. We haven't really encountered a lot of other combat-capable characters in our travels, but like, that mercenary we ganked back in the prologue. The one we hired and who turned on us. Or perhaps the Rat Queen Surly Door Guard. One of Calipero's defective apprentices, perhaps? It would have been interesting, but at the same time, you know, I am happy to spend more time with these guys. I like our current crew. I do hope this game did well enough, though, that the developer, the largely singular developer, apparently, aside from outsourced art and music, I do hope this game did well enough that they can hopefully lean into potential sequels or spin-offs that can further explore concepts that had to be largely sidelined for this one. And we're good. Just setting up for a quick top off here. Yeah, hold off. Nice. Ooh, here we go. The piece of paper seems to contain a work order. Continue the previous day's work of expanding the tunnel eastwards. I believe you should be very close to breaking through. Doing so will allow us to create a shortcut to the mine's entrance, and I don't need to tell you how much this would improve logistics. Ah, okay. So, obviously we can use this to create a shortcut back to the exit. This section of wall appears to be close to collapsing. If you have a pickaxe, you could likely break through to the other side. You make short work of the wall, and in no time it collapses to reveal that you have just linked up to the mine entrance. This will no doubt serve as a handy shortcut should you need to return to Adler's Helm. Which we almost certainly will once we discover the grisly fate of those taken by these brooding beasts. Lots of dead ends, just one viable path. What nightmare awaits? Okay, we've got fungus. You emerge into a large, natural cave. The atmosphere here is tropical, and strange, writhing growths cover the walls. Slowly, you make your way towards one of the nodules and become aware of a strange, wheezing sound. Could it be breathing? As light falls on the first of the cocoons, you realize to your horror that you've found the lost citizens of Harran. Yep, that tracks. You carefully lean in to examine one of the hapless victims, but nearly cry out in alarm when the poor man opens his eyes. He moans and looks around with confused, swimming eyes. As he fixes on you, his mouth moves as if to speak. Slowly and painfully, 2 words escape him. "Kill me." At that very moment, the low growl of a massive creature reverberates through the tunnels. "She's here," Embla whispers in a tone half reverence and half terror. The ground shakes as the huge beast slowly moves towards you. What was first mercifully obscured by darkness now comes into view. Standing more than twice as tall as the deep ones you have battled before, this creature is enormous, and no doubt lethal beyond compare. Now revealed in all her glory, it becomes clear to you. She is a queen mother, and you are standing in her breeding chamber. Looming menacingly above you, the queen positions herself between you and her cocooned vessels. You can't help but notice that beyond her, to the north, is another chamber where you can barely make out what appears to be a robed figure. "All right, people, time to earn our pay. Let's take this thing down." You take a step towards the massive creature, and as she rears up and bellows, the utter futility of attempting to fight her dawns on you. "No, I'm sure we'll be fine." Oh, okay, well. Your pathetic attempt at bravery comes to a sudden and terrible end as you are torn limb from limb by the ancient and terrible creature. Your quest has ended. Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man. Also, at least I got a nice thumbnail out of it, I guess. So thanks for that. Shoot, how far back did we last save? I think it was before that big fight we just had. Alright, well. One sec, let me loop back around and we'll do this the way they clearly intended. You take a step toward the massive creature, and as she rears up and bellows, you have sudden second thoughts. You spin on your heel and flee the breeding chamber as fast as you can. It's too late, however. The queen's ire is up, and with surprising grace and agility, the ancient beast gives chase through the narrow tunnels of the mine. Ah, Chekhov's trap. Of course. Realizing you can never outrun her, you have but one chance. The trapped tunnel. The creature is nearly at your heels as you round the last corner and spot the trigger rope. Your lungs are on fire from breathing the thick, dust-laden air, and with a final spasm of effort, you lunge for the rope. And catch it as you slide along the floor. The beam snaps like a twig, and instantly gravity asserts its dominance over rock. Countless tons crash down in an instant, utterly turning the body of the gargantuan abomination into so much gore. Falling rocks pummel you, and then a huge billowing cloud of choking dust fills the remaining tunnel. Oh, goodness. Well, that's not great. Crouching madly and stumbling about in the dark, you nonetheless manage to get your bearings. Slowly, you make your way to the exit and into the fresh air. For now, you must recover from the ordeal and wait for the dust to settle. Yeah, I'll say. Lorne, thanks for actually letting me in this time. You did it. Your eyes, there's something about them. that say you've seen things no man or woman should ever have to. I don't want to know what you face down there in the dark, but tell me this. What of my crew? Are they gone? Well, you know, it's funny you should ask. I didn't actually go back and check. But apparently I'm going to say no. Lorne trembles and his eyes water up. The man has lived through horrors untold, hiding for days and days like an animal to stay alive. You feel bad you weren't at least able to bring him better news. They were good men and women. The Golden Dead will protect them now. Yeah, let's hope so. So you feeling a bit chattier now? It all began when we found the stairs leading up to the plateau in the mines. Stairs like you've never seen before, cut right into the mountain itself and going straight up. Right, yeah, stairs. You mentioned that. Aye, we climbed them and found they made it possible to reach the plateau above us. If I were to guess, I'd say we were the first to set foot up there for hundreds or even thousands of years. And that's saying something about the age of the stairs. And then I dispatched a small party up into the plateau to look around a bit, but we're not really equipped for exploration, so we did what the company would expect. Send a report to the mainland and return to normal operations. But you did find something up there. Aye, that we did. The team reported seeing buildings up there in the ice. Old but imperial from what they could tell. Which is strange because the company has as good maps as any of Grognard, and nowhere are there records of imperial structures. Least of all up on that Magi-forsaken plateau. And the company, how did they respond? That's the strange part. The response came almost immediately, almost as if the company was expecting to find something. We were to make ready to receive an expedition that was to explore the plateau. Until then, we were told to keep quiet about the find and stay away. They even closed down mining operations. I've never heard of anything remotely similar happening before. Go on. Expedition arrived by ship in no time and set off the next day up onto the plateau. That's the last we saw of them. Whatever they found up there, I know in my bones it's what caused the madness that's been gripping Adler's helm. Embla shoots you a knowing glance. Right. Thanks. No, thank you for all your help so far. Be sure to talk to Doron and Ara before you go. I'm sure they'll help you in any way they can. I will certainly do that. Thank you, Lorne. An exhausted-looking young man smiles and bows as you approach. Emperor's bones. It'll be good to get out of here. Say, did you come here by ship? Yeah, but we had to land a ways from here. Reefs and all. I see. Well, Duran's my name, and the company hired me on as a pilot. I sail with ships making the passing up the bay towards Adler's to help them navigate the underwater rocks and reefs. Interesting. I don't suppose you could provide that service for us as well? That I could indeed. We could travel together to where your ship is. Then I'll stay on and help your captain navigate to and from Adler's, all safe and sound. It's the least I could do to thank you. Sounds good to me. I appreciate that. I'm ready to go when you are. We'll take one of the light boats and I'll get us down to the southern shore in your ship in no time. Right, yeah, just hold up. Let me chat with your friend here. Of course. I'll be waiting for you right here whenever you're ready. And a quick peek around just to see if there's anything else No, I think it's just these two. Alright, fair enough. I think it's safe to say you saved our lives, or at least prolonged them. Say, would you be in need of supplies? I was pretty well stocked when things went bad, and the least I can do is trade with you at a reasonable rate. Sure, let's have a look. Magic arms and armor. Though, once again, a distinct lack of war axes. At least magic war axes. Alright, I'll peruse these wares, see if there's anything worth grabbing. Then we'll pop down to the ship. One sec. You set out from Adler's Helm by one of the surviving lifeboats, and Duran expertly guides you through the narrow straits. In no time, you find yourself back on the shores which you landed. With Duran joining the crew of the Weather Maiden, it should now be possible to sail all the way directly to Adler's Helm. Nice. Let's get some rest. We are in dire need of recovery. First time actually having to rest, and they essentially forced it on us. Though, I do wonder if there were other ways we could have potentially tackled the Queen Mother. Like, if we hadn't set that trap, would we have just been doomed? Or would it have given up the chase once we fled the mine? Looks like I've already got all our resting tasks set from the one time we rested off screen. I think that was back just out of Haran. We also already have some food prepped, so I'll go ahead and slot that in. And then y'all can finally get a glimpse of the very rarely needed rest system. Though, I mean, you know, you do need to use it more often, I imagine, if you actually are unlucky enough to suffer maiming injuries on a more regular basis, since it's the only way to treat them. Hence why we're resting now, obviously. Oh, right. And of course, because we're maimed, we can't actually carry out tasks. But yeah, otherwise we would have gained like 100, 150 XP from training. Maybe picked up some extra supplies and poor arrows from foraging and fletching. No sign of Duran, but let's see if we can actually pass the reefs on the sides of the island now. No, okay. So it is purely just to get closer to Adler's Helm itself. Which I suppose is fair, since the ship is essentially supposed to be our mobile base of operations. We also still have to find that shrine. I mean, obviously, the Strength Shrine should not be up on the plateau. It's, oh, you know what? It must be on the northwest corner of the island. We didn't go all the way north. Hold on a sec. Let's get a gander up there real quick. We'll follow, yeah, we'll follow the trail north and west into the frozen area, ignoring encounters en route. And that should hopefully check another thing off of our to-do list. Troglodytes, interesting. But, no. Oh, here we go. Ahead, the volcanic peaks of Mount Caravan rise steeply. It lies there like some giant of titanic proportions that is thankfully still asleep. If it were to awaken, however, you shudder at the thought. thankful that your journey takes you in a different direction. I don't know. That sounds an awful lot like Chekhov's volcano. And there's our shrine. Let's grab our free point of strength, then back to Adler's Helm. Though actually, we do need to restock once we get back to the boat. I forgot to grab arrows. Ice doggos. Appropriate for the climate, but not what I would have expected. Not for strength. Feels like trogs or some other sort of brutish beasts might have been more appropriate. Though to be fair, these are one of the few viable threats we've faced any time recently. Relatively speaking. I do notice, though, it's mostly just ice pups, not the full-on ice striders. Though I do notice we have a couple of ice striders in back, still blissfully unaware of our presence. Okay, let's be careful about positioning, since we know they have stun breath. Fair and locked. Lesser doggos cleared. Drina on intercept. She'll get stunned. Yeah, saw that coming. But that leaves us in good shape. An ancient shrine. You pray. Huzzah! Blessing. Ooh, nice. Also, level ups. And it does not appear we have to go back and report to Pilgrim What's-His-Face, which does just leave the Plateau of Madness. Our adventure nears its end. I hope it's at least somewhat happy. I do somewhat dread the grim darkness that no doubt awaits. Alright, let's knock these level ups out. Soon your journey will be at its end, and though victory is nigh, you cannot help but wonder, what will it cost? Good question, me. Only one way to find out. I'll go ahead and grab Rending Blow. That's bleeding on crits. And then... suppose it doesn't really matter where we put that last point. And Roland. He'll finish grabbing Not Today. And again, doesn't really matter where he puts that last point. I guess we'll toss it into archery? Sure, why not? Okay, back to Adler's Helm. Or rather, back to the Weather Maiden, so I can restock on arrows real quick. Since, yeah, it seems like there's nothing else to be done with the volcano, at least not yet. Though the simple fact that it's even there is definitely somewhat foreboding. Alright, give me a sec. One last round of restock and potion crafting. Be right back. And we're back. Alright, let's go discover the fate of those unfortunate few who were not rescued from the Deep One's clutches. Also, check this out. Finally got myself a proper magic war axe. Fantastic. Bit late in the game for it, but, you know, better late than never. That's net +2 on the max damage range. So now I can finally die happy. Or, you know, just maybe die. Who's to say? Certainly not me. Hello? Oh, okay, well. Really thought we'd have like a follow-up event or something, but I guess not. So we push on, heedless of the awkward stares. The statues of two robed figures loom ominously over a doorway carved directly into the mountain with uncanny precision. Beyond, a narrow stair with oddly proportioned steps ascends steeply. The faintest of wisps of cool mountain air can be felt coming down through the shaft. These stairs are not part of the mines, says Embla as she stares up at the statues in reverence. They were built by those who built the priory. So you think they'd take us up to the top? Yes, I believe they do. Once we ascend, we'll be within striking distance of the priory. For all we have faced so far, I suspect there is yet much danger ahead. In other words, we must be well prepared before we set out. You think we'll run into more of those fish creatures? I'm not sure. I suspect the Deep Ones never made it to the plateau. They are creatures of the sea, and though they are dangerous enough on land, their reach is limited. Perhaps that is why they were breeding with humans? To make hybrids? You know, I'd rather not think about that, but what do you think we will find, then? Embla's voice drops to a whisper. The 7 eyes of the dragon are fixed on the priory. I can feel it. It writhes in the void, coveting that which lies below the priory. Its tendrils are grasping. Your head spins, and for an instant, you again imagine hearing the chanting of some long-dead language in the darkness. Maybe we should, just keep moving. I agree. Let's move on. You stand at the foot of the stairs for a moment. It's as if something is holding you back. If you take even the first step, events will be set in motion. They can never be undone. Then the strangest thought strikes you. You've always been climbing these stairs, and you will keep climbing them until the universe ends. You take the first step. The morbid thought is soon dispelled by the endless monotony of the climb. The shaft goes straight forwards and up at a steep angle. There is no bend or curve, just the same infinitely ascending stairs, perfectly carved through the heart of the mountain. For the longest time, the only change is the drop in temperature as you get higher. Then, finally, you catch the first glimpse of natural light in a long time. The exit is in sight. The exhilaration fills you with energy and rejuvenates your aching thighs. With a final exertion, you make it to the top and emerge onto the barren plains of the interior plateau. The Black Priory awaits. You gather your party and venture forth. Hey, Achivo, nice. Didn't even see the pop-up. Also, another round of level up, so let's run through those. And again, not really a big deal what we take at this point, I think. We'll just... Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're pretty well set with our game plan at this point. No need to really shake things up, we'll just... grab spare points here and there. Shore up what we're already good at, as opposed to investing in anything completely new. So, extra point of phalanx for Drina. Plus 1 point towards Body Master. And then for Cat, we've already established what we're doing there. 2 points towards backstab damage. And then 1 point towards... let's say Will. Which honestly really has not come up all that much, but I keep assuming that at some point it will. Then for Embla. Could grab Arcane Rush. We haven't needed it thus far, but it might be a good backup. And Ivan. Oh, you know what? How are you doing on encumbrance? Okay, we've got room for improvement there. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's grab Second Wind. Those free self-heals do come in handy. And on we go. We've still got some time, so let's at least carve ourselves a foothold in the Black Priory. Pass. I imagine we'll have trogs aplenty once we actually get inside this place. we go. A grim edifice rises from the wastelands. Its walls are weather-beaten, and its empty windows glare at you like dead, black eyes. Abandoned as it may seem, there is nevertheless some siren call that bids you venture inside. And below. Chapter 5. Obvious camp off to left. Let's scout our edges first. Oh goodness, this is a oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, very wide map, but a large barricade choke pointing us towards a singular approach. Hi there. Well, that bodes well. He's fine. This is fine. Okay, yeah, they're definitely funneling us. But we do now know this is a very exceptionally wide map. Initial camp seems abandoned, so in we go. You enter the courtyard of the walled priory, only to find it eerily quiet and surprisingly temperate. Not even in Vaul are the Imperial Gardens still heated in the winter. It's a sad thing to see for an empire that was built on the subjugation of climate by man and magi, no? Ivan presumably says. Strange vegetation bursts out of the ground in grotesque mockeries of trees, and writhing tendrils of fleshy pseudopods creep obscenely forth from the well. Okay, you're really throwing me off with those quotation marks. As you approach, the tentacles creep slowly but greedily in your direction. Drina stomps the nearest tendril. That blasted infestation seems to grow like a cancer throughout these aisles. Wherever we set foot, we find it festering in some dark corner. She spits in disgust. Embla, do you have any idea what this stuff is? It's the fungi from outside. It infests Warda, growing through the veil and into the very matter of the world. Her voice drops to a whisper. It's the herald of the dragon. The tentacles squirm with increased fervor at the very mention of that blasted name. Stop, don't say that word. Embla seems frozen in fear for a moment before she nods weakly in agreement. You both feel it. The horrid certainty that 7 terrible eyes are now fixed on you. Drina grabs your arm, her face a determined mask. There are some things we must not discuss here. Do you understand? Yeah, got it. Let's have a look around. Bookshelves up top. Oh, I see. Okay, we have to go up on the wall. Yeah. Oh. We've got facehuggers. A meager 3 shouldn't be much of an issue. Let's knock these guys out real quick. Rear 2 locked. One out. Number 2 out. And might as well top off. Nice. And stairs right here. So up onto the wall we go. Oh, okay, so just crafting ingredients. That's disappointing. We have a glut of potions at this point. Don't really need more components. Let's check the other side. Seems to be a mirrored design, so southeast tower. Ah, spiders. Pulling out all the classics. Honestly, a slightly more problematic fight considering the cramped quarters. Though that's not really saying much. Rear 2 locked. Focus down front. Actually. There we go. That gives us a bit more room to play with. One out. Tower clear. And look at that. Our key to the front door, I'd wager. Plus a crafting station. I'd say this foothold is pretty well secured. Not sure when my timer stopped, but we should probably call it here. See you next time for our Priory engagement. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.